All right, I'm back. I had to take a little break in August. Things was pretty exhausted, not gonna lie. Pretty drained. Felt like things are just out of control. People are just going mad. The whole Breonna Taylor thing. I wanted to do a video on that. What I thought. Um, which I thought that there was not a whole, like some of the things LeBron James were saying and people saying what LeBron James thinks. LeBron James doesn't know shit. He's not that intelligent of a dude. I'm sorry. Like either that or he just doesn't look that much into things. But um, yeah, just the whole situation. The whole situation with like the social justice movement and Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake. Um, is just draining trying to sort through truth and what justice would be, and people trying to get all self-righteous and yeah, just want it to be draining. But and I have to have these videos at least be neutral, not drain me. Anyways, for September I've been elk hunting, so been using all my energy towards trying to shoot one of them elks. So anyways, I wanted to talk about many things, but one of them being I posted about something making fun of woke culture. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and maybe some other things we'll see. Um, so some people think they're punk rock because they hold not only the most socially acceptable but the most socially and culturally popular beliefs of the time. Um, Going to church is now more punk rock than going to the bar and agreeing with all your woke buddies in the existence of 573 genders, the evils of the capitalist patriarchy, and the inherent white supremacy of Western cultural values. It's funny because these same people will mock others for denying science and evidence because of their religious beliefs without catching the slightest whiff of irony. Ned Flanders is more rebel than woke culture zealots, and it had to be said. I'm sorry if I made fun of your religious beliefs. And I'm joking there about certain parts, but also serious. I do believe, like I'm not joking about Ned Flanders being more rebel than woke zealots, people who are really into woke culture. I think it takes more courage and it's less popular, more controversial to have and stand by your faith-based values, more deeply held values than it does to stand up for your political ideology. I think it takes more courage and it's less popular to do that than to go along with this movement and this like mob. Basically, I feel like they are. Um, I think it's popular now. You see it in the NBA, the NFL. I see it in other places too that I don't really want to go into as far as my personal life and boundaries with what I put on the internet here. But um, you might think it's hyperbole, like me picking on that stuff or me criticizing it. But if it hasn't come to you already, um, it will, and probably sooner than later you will see it in mental health, like the pervasiveness of these ideas, critical race theory, social construction, like postmodern ideas. And I'm not gonna act like I completely understand them, but I know enough about them, and I think I have a good enough relationship with trying to pursue truth and trying to be dedicated to that rather than be an ideologue or to cling to beliefs that don't fit the evidence and don't fit reality. That I know it's more bullshit than not, and that I think it's cloaked in there are ideas that are cloaked in empathy that really are have much less to do with empathy than they are on their face. Um, Yeah, so I think it's totally like it's amazing to me that some people think that they're raging against the machine. It's like no, you're raging on behalf of the machine. You, it's the popular thing to do right now, no doubt. If I'm gonna go out in public, if I were gonna say like make a public statement or to, um, you know, of course there's places you could walk into some more conservative area like rural bar and you're not going to be the popular person for saying some woke platitude, but in Missoula here and probably most urban areas, totally. Like, I mean, I see a ton of places put Black Lives Matters little stickers or stuff in their windows. Yeah, you're not. I mean, honestly, if I were a business person, I'd be just trying to stay neutral, trying to stay out of it. I don't want a political message in my business, but um, because it's most businesses is probably not really, I guess, a wise business move. But yeah, it's popular enough where people are willing to do that. And I posted this James Lindsay something that he shared along with it, which is I think what was it? Well, anyways, just basically like media, Hollywood, political parties. Like you're not pushing against. You're not the counter movement. You're not a rebel. Like this is popular right now. Um, so yeah, I just want to go on record to say like if you don't see it now, you're going to. I've been people like tried to gaslight me. People have gaslit me. Past tense. I don't know if that's a word, but people, yeah, they've done that. And I need to just dig in and do some more research on this. I know enough to know that it's not that it's mostly bullshit and that it's a lot of bad ideas cloaked in empathy and compassion. And on their face, it appears that way, but that's not really what's going on. Um, yeah. So I think the other thing that's going on. So in all these, when I talk about the NFL and the NBA, they talk about, oh, you need to go out and vote. You need to go out and vote. And then they're showing, like these pictures of people wearing, uh, they're pictures of black, people wearing, like, it's not written on their shirts, but the implication is it's Black Lives Matter. When you're watching it, you're like, oh, this definitely looks like a Black Lives Matter kind of rally type thing, or like talk when people are gathering around talking, um, protests, whatever, and it's like the message is you need to get out and vote and do this, whatever, blah blah blah, and of course they're not talking about Republicans. Um, and the funny thing to me about that is like I know most people probably already know this because it's a talking point, but it's also true. Like most of these, if not all of these cities where you're talking about police brutality, are Democrat controlled places. So like all of this messaging, and it's like almost it's overwhelming in culture, at least as I see it. Social media, sports media. I feel like most places that I'm consuming some type of media, I'm getting this message like vote Democrat if you support BLM and social justice. Like this is now is the moment. Like we gotta do this. So you gotta get out and vote. And of course we're talking vote Democrat, but like, you know, we're not going to say that outright because we don't want to just disrespect you and just be like, here's what you need to do. But I just think that's like silly. I mean, really, like I have to act now like Democrats are the savior, like they didn't contribute to this problem the entire time. Like my biggest message right now and my biggest thing is, and I hope I don't push people away by like mocking a lot of these ideas and whatnot. But I like honestly, like don't make value judgments. I will never begrudge anyone for making an honest value judgment. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, whatever other candidates we want to use for examples. Like you're making a value judgment, or I'm going to go with a libertarian candidate or some other third party candidate as like a protest vote. Like you're using your reasoning, you're kind of sifting through information. You're like, this is just what I feel like honestly I should do um, with my voice or how I want to express myself. Never gonna begrudge you for that. But you like start saying and making Kamala Harris and Joe Biden out to be these saviors. Like, what are you talking about? What? No, like just make a value judgment. He's like, just be like, yeah, he's not the greatest candidate, but he's all right. I mean, this, yeah, I mean, don't delude yourself into believing that the Democrat Party is this awesome party that's gonna solve all these social issues. Where's the evidence for that, and why? I, I don't. It's just like, what planet am I on? I don't. There's no reason to get self-righteous about voting like Democrat because you're no reason at all, at all. If you want to vote Democrat, do it. And you can, but and you say, well, maybe I'm being why do I always have to rip on Democrats? Well, I mean, like I do have friends who probably like they're um make too much for Donald Trump, and I would say maybe are doing the same thing where you put this person on a pedestal and kind of um rather than making a value, just saying, making a value judgment, saying he's kind of seems to be a pretty shit person, but whatever. The other guy doesn't represent my values, so I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump, even though he's a shit person. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, and so, anyways, yeah, there's people who I would say that most people that I know of that I talk to about like politics and stuff, they just say like, yeah, Donald Trump sucks, but um, he's who's gonna represent me better, or they're concerned about what I talk about with similar things related to like the social justice movement and a lot of the lies that go along with it, different things like that. They think that he's like one of the few guys who will pander and placate to these groups, whatever. But anyways, um, yeah, there are people who kind of put him on a pedestal and overlook and make him out to be this glorious person. And I tell I'm like I'll tell them the same thing, like make a value judgment, but don't sacrifice your critical thinking and your ability to reason by just you know giving into this tribalism. And I think it's, at least as I see things, it just seems to be a lot worse on the Democrat end. Like I see people that are very intelligent people that are like excited about a Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ticket. It's like, what are you? Because we're all jacked up about social justice in this moment in time and trying to make some positive changes, and some of them that totally should be done, like in the legal system, and we should look at police brutality and how black persons may or may not be affected, or how they may or may not be affected differently by different systems. Whether there's something malevolent going on there, or whether it's not something that's actually malevolent, it's just people or groups being disproportionate, or having disparities and outcomes, which doesn't always mean that there's something bad happening. Um, yeah, we should talk about all those things. But Joe Biden and why are you jacked up about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as solutions to that problem? They've been obvious people who have contributed to that problem. So the getting excited about the Democrat Party and the movements and all these messages I see on social media where it's get out and vote, we got to win. If we want to win, we got to get out and vote. And of course, I mean, yeah, no, they're not talking about Republicans. I'm sorry, like I'm not going to play that game either. They clearly they're none of these in Hollywood, sports media. They're not talking about Republicans. Um, so I got to get out and vote Democrat if I want to make these social changes that I'm sorry, like it's same for all the. I think those are some of those things are worthy causes. I think there's a lot of lies in them, but I think some of those things are there are worthy causes in there. So my biggest thing is don't delude yourself into believing things like and trying to get super jacked about Democrats. Like maybe you think make a value judgment, say you know what I think Democrats are probably going to do better now, but I don't know. Who knows? But I think Democrats might do better to get this social stuff that I want done. Make these social changes that I want to get done. But like, leave the self righteousness at the door, honestly, because there's no reason to take that attitude with like Democrats. I don't understand it. Um, and then conversations with my like some people that I'm friends with and stuff too. Just I think the loyalty to the Democrat Party goes deeper. Like people will make more excuses for them. Like they'll say their intentions are better, even though that you know, they screw us and do a lot of bad things too, or try and jam a bunch of stuff into a bill during like blaming Republicans for the stimulus bill and stuff. It's like I'm a person. It's like they're all trying to jam shit into that bill that doesn't need to be in there, and then they fight over what stuff gets jammed into there and hold it up, and they're all holding like the American people kind of hostage on it. They're the ones who have to wait. And I've heard people say like, well, it's not the Democrats' fault, it's the Republicans' fault. It's like they're both jamming. Like, why do you think that they're so much better? I really don't understand it. I think both parties and both, there's people that are acting in line with their beliefs in both parties, and there's bad actors, and there's people who are mostly just actually just following their beliefs in a principled way, and it gets perceived like, oh, he's an evil Republican or he's an evil Democrat. Yeah, just don't delude yourself into believing some stupid crap. Make value judgments. I don't begrudge anyone for voting for Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Joe Jorgensen. Um, I try not to be self-righteous, and maybe I have at some point in my life, but I'm not going to get self-righteous about who I vote for or what I do. And if I do, someone can bitch slap me. But yeah, don't abandon reason and start hating on people because they vote differently than you. Um, Make value judgments, but don't abandon reason in your critical thinking and lose your mind trying to put the Democrat Party and Kamala Harris, Joe Biden on some pedestal that they don't need to be on. Um, and similarly, again, I don't think that as many people. I think most people are fine with Donald Trump being a shit person, and they're like, uh, yeah, I don't care. He represents our views better, and I'd rather have. Like for me, I understand the sentiment. It wasn't a weird thing. Like if last election, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, like just chucking a wrench into the system. Again, I voted third party, but like if I had to choose between those two, like I'd throw a wrench in the system before just status quo, like same exact thing that we've had the whole time. I understand that sentiment. It's not crazy to me. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think people make as many excuses for Donald Trump as they do for Joe Biden. They're like, yeah, he's just a shit person, but like, I don't care. We'll take him. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward. I'm gonna try and do some more videos and learn some more about critical race theory and social construction theory, social constructionist theories, intersectional theory. So I feel like I can talk about them better because I think they're difficult things. They're snaky things to kind of get a hold of and to grapple with. But yeah, don't abandon your reason.